Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to the channel. We just thought today we'd talk about something, another thing really to look out for. As you know, we did a video the other day. If you don't know, go and watch it now because there is a plot twist in this video. So it's important that you've watched that one. But yeah, we just covered sort of red flags to watch out for. But there was something else that came up sort of, I think it was the end of last week.
Friday, yeah.
So basically this was to do, this was to do with something else that isn't particularly a red flag, but just something to look out for.
So what happened was we also sell, not just eBay, but we also sell on Etsy. Friday afternoon rolls around and we get a message from a customer very angry and demanding a deposit, demanding a refund because their item was damaged, smashed in transit.
One of the things though is they said, I would like a refund, or I want a refund to my PayPal. So there was no talk of putting a claim into Etsy. It was just a case of, I want you to refund my PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I replied to this lady, would you mind sending me a picture of the box? And the
Do you want to say what it was though first? What the item was? It was a blue and white plate, basically. So it was just it was just an ordinary blue and white plate that this woman had bought and you had posted, hadn't you?
To America.
Yeah.
And we've been doing Etsy now for about 8 months, and in that time we've sold lots and lots of things. We wrap them extra carefully,
especially if they're going abroad.
Abroad. And we haven't had any issues yet. So I was very surprised. So I asked the lady politely, could you send us a picture of the packaging and the box? And she replied saying that it was very poorly packaged in a flimsy box and there was no padding, and she sold, so many thousand items in December and she would never pack it like this.
Can I also just interject here, was the fact that the picture of the plate in question was on some bubble wrap. And it looked like it was on the floor. So, of course, when we looked at the photos, the first assumption was that because this sold back in mid-January, that she had only just unwrapped it and possibly dropped it and then gone, where's my camera? Taken a photo of this plate dropped on the floor. So that was kind of like, we had that in the back of our minds. Is this just something where it's her error, but she's claiming that was how it was in the box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went into a bit of a panic, not a panic, but I just didn't understand how it had happened because, as I say, we package things really, really well, don't we? And also, the plate only cost about £6.99, but the postage was £15.50. So we were looking at quite a hit from this. So it would have, how much is that? 20 something?
Just over 20 quid,
Just
really.
over 20 quid. On this broken plate. So I googled Etsy and how it all works with them, because I know with eBay they tend to side with the buyer on most occasions, and Etsy's the same, and buyers don't have to return anything on Etsy. They can say it's broken and you have to give a refund. So that's. Do
they have to provide the photo proof though?
I have no idea.
No,
but apparently Etsy's very pro buyer, with very little exception.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
But anyway, so you asked for photos of the packaging, the box that it came in. Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if it had gone through customs and they'd opened it up, and because you do hear stories of that happening, don't you?
Yeah, we had that actually. That was a table lighter that we sold not long ago. I would say end of last year, and customs opened it up and. Basically, when we got it back, it was not wrapped the way we had sent it, because they'd unwrapped it all and then just shoved all the wrapping back on top of it and stuff like that. So it was kind of a bit of a mess. The box was all squished down, but also the item looked to be slightly broken as well. So you do, because I think they tried to prise the lid off this table lighter to see what the inner workings of it were. Because in case you sell anything like that, any of these decorative table lighters, the vintage, antique, however they come, basically just be aware, if you have to make sure they don't have any gas in them. So if they're butane, whatever, no fuel in them whatsoever. And you have to also make sure there's no flint in them either, because you can't send stuff abroad with a flint.
No.
No.
Which we didn't realise.
No.
We didn't realise this had a flint in it, but it didn't even cross our minds, did it? I suppose.
Not at the time,
No.
no, but obviously now we're a bit more on our toes. But anyway, so she sent the packaging.
So
photo.
she sent these photos. I'll pop them in here and here.
Yeah.
Or Alexis will, because you're editing.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the first thing that struck me was this plate was laying on a bed of what looked like shredded paper. And it was in a white box. And we usually, or 9.5 times out of 10, we use our eBay boxes because they're the better quality ones.
Or we use brown boxes,
brown
that come from home if we get anything from home.
So instantly, I knew this wasn't our box. And my first thought was, is she trying to scam us? And I think we both thought that, didn't we?
I think it crossed my mind that this might be somebody, not so much scamming, but more somebody who's only just opened it, dropped it on the floor, and then has gone, I'll just ask for a refund. So that was my first thought, I think, rather than it being anything else. But then when we zoomed in on her photo, in fact, I'll put a picture up here of, no, I can't.
You can't.
I can't zoom in on the label because that would be wrong. Do not do that. So basically, the label, I will describe it, was not us.
No. I had my Sherlock Holmes hat firmly on and zoomed in on the label, saw that it wasn't us, Googled the person's name and address, and up popped another Etsy shop. And in the sold section was the exact same plate that we had sold.
So this person, obviously, this woman who contacted us was obviously somebody who buys these plates from all over the world and then perhaps flogs them on as a set or something like that to get more money out of them. Yeah. Something to that effect. Who knows? Yeah.
So I replied to this lady with, that box is not a box that we send in. We never use shredded paper.
No.
We
don't.
It was literally like, when you shred paper in a shredding machine, it was like someone had just dumped a load of that into a box and put a plate on top of it.
It was no wonder the plate was smashed, put it that way, when we looked at it.
Yeah. So I messaged the lady and told her that, and I said, this isn't us. Have you ordered another plate? And she replied that she had, in fact, ordered another plate, and it was another Etsy shop, another seller.
Yeah.
And she confirmed that she had received ours on the 17th.
But you did say, have you by any chance bought off this other person? And you did point her in the direction of their shop to see whether it was them, and indeed it was. Yeah. So this is just really something to watch out for. So if ever you get any queries like this, whether it be, I suppose, on eBay or on Etsy, if you have doubts, we had doubts. Now, these doubts, for some people, right, she might have messaged someone, right, who was a bit of a panicker or new or something, and said, I want you to credit my PayPal with the amount this plate costs, plus postage. That person might have just gone and done it. Now, the only problem is, imagine this scenario that basically you refund her PayPal. Now, for anybody who's just started out, don't just give refunds off platform willy-nilly. That is not the way it's done. People have to go through the platform they bought it from off of you. And then there's a certain process, and it's fairly self-explanatory when these things, when you get returns and stuff. But never go off platform. No. And so essentially we could have, if we were panickers, if we were absolute panickers, gone quick refund, and then she could have had a refund off PayPal. Now the only problem with that is, would she have then put in a claim via Etsy and got the same bloody refund? So you just don't know, do you? And so this is really something we just wanted to kind of mention for people who are just starting out.
Yeah.
The panic that you have, because obviously you're just starting out and you want things to be perfect, but don't let that overshadow common sense. And the common sense says there might be something a little bit off here. If you have that gut feeling, then go with the gut feeling. Like you did, do a bit of digging around in the sorts of things that this person has bought, perhaps around this same time.
Yeah, always ask to see the box and the packaging. If you've wrapped something really well, always ask to see it, because it might be that, as we said, it's been opened in customs. Yeah. It might be, as in our case, that it wasn't even us who sent it. And if I hadn't asked the lady for the photos, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't us. Yeah. And I would have issued a refund, obviously on the platform, as you're supposed to, had she opened a claim. But luckily, I don't trust anybody.
Well, luckily we both had...
We're quite cynical, aren't we?
We both had a gut feeling that there was something a little bit off. Now, my initial gut feeling was that she'd broken it by being basically clumsy with it, which was wrong. But what was right was the gut feeling that there was something off.
Yeah, and
So
she didn't apologise as such, but she did state that our item was packaged very well.
yes,
And that she
did.
had received
Yeah.
it and she was happy with it.
Yeah.
She still hasn't left feedback though.
No. So yeah, we have had in the past tricky customers. Some of them are tricky because they just want to be.
Yeah.
To be fair, and some of them are just because realistically they are that confused.
Yeah.
So you obviously from the outset aren't going to know which one they are, but it will become apparent as it goes along.
Yeah.
And with this woman, it was just certainly a case of she was confused. But there are some who are going to be very, very tricky. There are people who are going to buy from you because they don't want the competition of you selling an item they've got for a lot cheaper and stuff like that. And they will deliberately just create a situation where it makes it a little bit difficult for you. Yeah.
But as we said in our red flags video, this is a very small percentage of people.
Yeah.
The majority of people who buy from you will be lovely or nice.
Well, at the very least, you will just have a customer buy an item, pay for an item, you will send it, and they either will or won't leave you feedback. But that'll be it. That'll be the whole thing.
That's the majority who don't leave feedback, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And those are the sorts of transactions that are the ones that you want, because they're just the people who are on there to buy stuff that they want and
not cause any
that's
trouble.
it. Yeah, that's it.
Whereas some people see it as a hobby, don't they, to complain.
Have you ever had this situation where you've been on holiday and you've always had that one or two people on holiday who complain about everything? Right, well, back sort of 20, 30 years ago, they had to go on holiday to complain about stuff, or they had to go and complain in shops. Now they can go and complain on the internet. And so basically that's why there are quite a few of people who are out there doing this, because maybe they are just a born complainer, who knows.
Yeah.
But speculation a bit about people's character and a character assassination, if you will, aside, the fact is this is kind of something to look out for, because there are people who can be bloody confused, to be honest with you, and so you need to play a bit detective, really, to sort it out.
Yeah, but always be as polite as you possibly can be, and patient as well, because just because you've been scammed by someone before doesn't mean that this person is now a scammer again.
Yeah.
But always be on the lookout.
Yeah, and as we've said previously, if you have a gut feeling that something isn't right, then listen to the gut feeling. Don't be shy about using the block button if you need to.
Yeah.
If you really think somebody, if they're problematic enough just sending you messages in the first instance, imagine what they're going to be like as a buyer for your store.
Yeah.
They are going to be tricky. So there's always that as well as an option if you really have to. I don't know, does Etsy have something similar to the block button, or?
I have no idea. I've never had to block anyone on Etsy, touch wood.
Yeah. So that might be worth looking at. I know on Vintage you can block people as well if they're ever sort of.
We did have a guy. Was it Christmas Eve? No, it was the 22nd of December, and he bought a really expensive book on Etsy. Do you remember? We were laying in bed, and we got really excited because this £150 sale came through, and then he messaged and said, "Will this be here before Christmas? I'm in America."
Yeah. So the window of opportunity for sending outside of the UK had actually closed like the Friday before, and this was kind of at the start of that week leading up to Christmas. He said, "I've just bought this, and can it be here by Christmas Eve?" Well, no, basically. Even if I got on a plane now and probably brought it over to you, well, actually, it would be there by Christmas Eve, but, I'm not going to do that.
It cost a lot more than the £15 that we would have charged.
So, it was kind of a case of, well, no, and then he got shirty,
He
didn't
got really shirty.
Yeah.
You should put that in the in the listing. So I just gently reminded him that it was, the Christmas period, and that he was unlikely.
Mm. And this is why Amazon Prime spoils people.
Yeah.
Because they have this expectation that buying off the internet, from eBay and other stores or other online platforms, I should say, is going to be the same. It's not. And we can't do what Amazon do because we haven't got a fleet of vans driven like they're bumper cars, getting people's parcels. I'll tell you what I saw. I did see on a video, I think it was yesterday, They have drones that drop off parcels. Well, if you can imagine what a delivery driver throwing your parcel at your front door can do, imagine a drone dropping that same parcel from a great height.
Is it like the stalk? Just kind of drops the
Yeah,
baby?
it just drops it in your garden, basically. It just drops the parcel into your garden. Yeah.
Lovely. But anyway, if you've watched this video till the end, you know the drill by now. Alexis, what is the word?
The word is, well, it's got to be grease, hasn't it?
It took me a while to get that then. Why?
Yeah. So grease is the word,
Grease is the word, yes.
is the notion.
Yes. But like, subscribe. We're nearly at our 850 subscribers now. And then we will be doing a giveaway. So subscribe.
Put notifications on as well, actually. And make sure they're set to all so you get all of them.
Yes. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.